Code red. Code red. This is not a drill. Repeat, this is not a drill.
Man battle stations missile.
Unlock and extend the bridging rails.
Weapons down, you have permission to fire.
Yes, the MS Division cordially invite you to attend the afternoon meal.
Fire torpedo 1. Repeat, fire torpedo 1. Battle stations, do you read? Fire torpedo 1.
A1 lobster.
We got him.
Thank you. Cooking in a submarine, that's, man, where to start on that? It's very compact. It's a very tight community of people.
Currently I have 6 MSs. They're in charge of the daily meal preparations, the wardroom service, and for the stateroom areas.
MS3 Severia is over here and he's working on the red pepper sauce for our roasted corn.
MS is a mess management specialist. Basically, it's used to be a cook. A long time ago, used to be cooks. Now we're chefs.
I'll take 3. I would have to say mess management specialist is one of the toughest jobs on a submarine.
Watch it, hot pan.
Thank you. Depending on who you ask, the majority of people would tell you that we are the morale of the ship. Everybody sees MSs day to day. Everybody sees you. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You have the ability to really make or break somebody's day. And your attitude, depending on how you deal with these people, can really just throw their whole day off.
The USS Annapolis is an improved 688 class submarine. We're basically a multi-mission attack submarine. Basically, we can do an awful lot of different missions, and it has about 140 people, that's officers and crew. The mess decks is very important for the crew because it's kind of their place to get away from the work day. There's a lot of hard work on board a submarine, and this is a place where we sit down and try to make the guys forget about that they're on a submarine. This makes them, we want them to think that they're on a restaurant.
Comes out of this kitchen, whether it's in the crew's mess or whether it's in the wardroom. Yeah. Currently have 15 officers on board. They eat inside the wardroom.
The food on board the USS Annapolis is excellent. Best restaurant in town.
They're really lucking out today. We're doing some roasted prime rib with rubbed garlic and salt and pepper. Also season it up at the very last minute, some butter for added flavor. We're also doing, we're lucky to have received some live lobster. We call it surf and turf, which is usually our lobster and our prime rib. And we see that every once in a while, but they're really lucking out today with live lobster. We don't see that very often. We're also doing roasted corn with a cayenne butter sauce. We're doing broccoli. We're doing vegetable soup. And we're doing some Navy standard hot rolls, but we're going to see if we can spruce them up a little bit.
Go ahead and clear the table and go ahead and start doing some rolls.
Okay. We're really lucky today. We have Chef Ken Wojciech. He's from Napa Valley, California, and he's been helping us out.
When it comes out, put it into a hotel pan. For a couple of years now, the Culinary Institute of America has had a program established with the U.S. Navy to train the cooks and essentially give them some instruction in enhancing the food that they have available to them here on the ship. And also teach new techniques. Like this is the red pepper butter for your corn. Yes. And it's a little hard now, and that's what I want. The heat of the corn will melt it nice and slowly. The Navy cooks would be coming to our schools. What happened, though, is the chefs enjoyed the experience, but it wasn't very practical for them. You know, we have these very large, wonderful kitchens, and the spaces on the ships are quite small, so they couldn't really apply what they learned at our school on the ship. So last year it was decided that instead of sending the chefs to the schools, that they would send the chef to the boat. So here I am. This is the horseradish cream. I really love this, especially on something like prime rib. It's sour cream, a little heavy whipping cream, horseradish, of course, to give it a little bit of color, put in some paprika. We also have some tarragon as well. Tarragon is very nice. So it gives us a much more realistic picture of what these chefs have to do here on board, and it's quite a tough job, but they do a great job.
We have our hot roll dough, which is proofing. The main thing, to be honest with you, is attitude. Attitude wins it pretty much every time. When I cook in the galley, I put my heart into everything I cook. There's nothing that I put out to the crew that I just threw together. That's my own personal, it's my own ownership or pride of what I do.
Hey, Petty House from Mills, outstanding meal, it was great.
Thank you very much, appreciate it. Thanks.
Gloria, great guacamole.
Thanks, got it off foodtv.com. Cinnamon sangria. Foodtv.com.
Perfect paella.
I learned it from Bobby Flay.
Looking for a recipe, a wine suggestion, or a great party idea?
The only limitations we have on board the submarine is our provisions. We can make our own water, we make our own air, we provide our own power. The only thing we can't do is grow our own food. The only reason the submarine needs to pull in is to load more food.
My responsibility here is that when they're leaving, our job is to make sure that they have ample supplies on board to support the mission. If they're gone for 7 days, we need to make sure that they have at least 7 days worth of food on board. If they're gone for a deployment for 6 months, we have to make sure that they have enough food and supplies so that they can fulfill the mission.
For a 3-month deployment, 90 days, I would load approximately 120 days of food. Just in case I'm extended out to sea for some reason, we could stay submerged for 120 days. We actually absolutely had to.
90-day submarine loadout, you could expect to carry anywhere from 4,000 to 5,000 pounds of frozen meat, about 1,000 pounds of frozen vegetables, anywhere between 18 and 22,000 pounds of dry goods.
Hey, Mills, are you ready? Okay. Got it. You got it? Yep. Okay.
The hardest part of food service on board is the stowage. We store the food any way it will fit.
We load food just about every nook and cranny that you could possibly find on board that submarine. You'll find food. You go down somewhere and you open up a locker, watch your head because you might get a box of macaroni fall on you. If there's a locker and it's not claimed, it's a food locker now.
I put some of the food in the torpedo room. Some of the food will go into the machinery room. And some food goes in berthing right on the decks. I have one freezer, one chill box on board where I can store my food.
Hey, Johnson, we're almost done.
As far as the dry items, if we go out for extended periods of time, sometimes the guys have to walk on the food.
If we were going to load out for 90 days, we would definitely be walking on cans. We would lay all the number 10 cans, and we'd walk on it until we ate our way down to the deck, as we say.
The average life expectancy, I'll call it, of fresh fruits and vegetables on board a submarine is about 14 days.
We just make sure that we rotate the stock, first in, first out. Peppers stay quite a while as long as they're ventilated. Carrots stay fresh for a long time. I've got 100 pounds in there right now, and I know that'll last me definitely for the next week and a half. Milk probably goes the quickest, but I can only carry enough for maybe 6 days, and then we're out. And then they start drinking non-fat dry. Eggs, they're fresh eggs, but they're dipped in a mineral bath, so they don't have to be refrigerated. We can store them for up to a month. Coffee is very important on board this ship. We go through a lot of coffee. I probably use close to 20 pounds of coffee a week.
This is real good.
When you're underway, I can't overestimate the impact that the food service division has on crew morale and crew satisfaction. They're vitally important to our mission accomplishment, because when the crew's happy, the crew does a good job, and good food makes the crew happy.
My favorite meal on Annapolis, I have to say, is wicked chicken.
The wicked chicken.
Wicked chicken. Wicked chicken. Wicked chicken.
A wicked chicken is a boneless chicken breast cooked up like a hot one.
I can't, that's a secret.
It's skinless, boneless chicken that we dredge in flour and
Information is gathered here and translated into the ship's position on the piloting chart. The secondary plotter uses an identically prepared chart as the primary plotter. The secondary plot recorder maintains a bearing book.
What's the secret ingredient for wicked chicken?
I can't tell you.
then we dip that into the melted butter and hot sauce.
You send a self-addressed stamped envelope, USS Annapolis. We'll be glad to send you that recipe.
From rock and roll divas to silver screen legends, these celebrity restaurant owners
There's all in the red.
have a passion.
We typically serve an average of 1,000 to 1,200 people a day, depending on weekend, weekday. Its occurrence near payday.
Regular double.
We prepare 3 meals a day, 365 days a year. Right now, we're in the submarine-based galley, where we actually do the food preparation work. What they're doing right now, they finished up lunch about an hour and a half ago, and they're making the prep for supper. They're doing the pasta sauce, the noodles, the cordon bleu, everything that we're serving tonight, they're putting together right now. Our primary means of cooking the majority of our food is in steam-jacketed coppers, and essentially what that is, it's a giant stainless steel bowl that's surrounded by a pressurized jacket that is pumped full of steam. We use this for cooking any type of sauce, soup, pastas. We use it for braising meat, for browning meat. All that kind of stuff is cooked off in those coppers.
The Armed Forces Recipe Service is a set of recipe cards that was established a few years ago, and it is used by all 4 branches of the Armed Forces. And they're all based on 100 portions because that's the easiest number to do the math.
There's about 300 recipes, and everybody uses the same. But if you want to use something that's of local flair, or somebody brings in their mother's pecan pie recipe, we want to convert that. to feed 100 people, that would be considered a local recipe, and we'll definitely do that.
Over the course of a year, we go through about 15 tons of flour, a couple tons of chocolate chips, 27 tons of potatoes, 4 tons of bacon, 7 tons of ground beef, 7 tons of broccoli, about 21,000 dozen eggs, it's about 250,000 eggs, and 14 or 15,000 gallons of milk. As anybody who's been in the Navy will tell you, the quality of your food has a huge impact on morale. While we're a shore facility or we're not deployed, we don't take it any less seriously here. It's a stressful environment. The sub-school students have a very rigorous schedule that they're on. The sailors that are coming off the boats on the waterfront, you know, their day is not easy. Everybody has stresses in their life. This is an opportunity for them to forget about what they were doing, relax in a comfortable atmosphere, and have a good quality meal. So the quality of the food that we prepare, we all understand the impact that it can have on people. And it's important for our guys. The Prisoners of War Missing in Action table is a symbolic gesture that's done by all military galleys. The table is set for those that were lost in action, taken prisoner of war, that have never been returned to their families and their loved ones. Everything on the table is symbolic of one aspect or another. The red tablecloth is symbolic of the blood that was shed. The upturned wine glass symbolizes that which will never be filled with the fruits of their labor again. The lemon symbolizes the bitterness of the loss, and the salt is all that is left of the tears that have been shed. It's a way that we can recognize the sacrifice that was made by the prisoners of war, the missing in action.
You know, it kills me when these country...
I was stationed with the White House Mess for 3 years. I worked in the kitchen with the White House Mess, and also we went on the road with the president whenever he went anywhere, whether that was out in town, in the D.C. area for dinner, or in another state or another country. Cooking at the White House was probably the funnest thing that I've done outside of cooking on board the submarine. I traveled a lot of places. I got to do a lot of things that a guy like me normally wouldn't get to do. Of course, the pressure is there. You're cooking for the president and his staff. Things were pretty meticulous. The plate up was very meticulous, the way it went out. My favorite was the Helsinki summit, which we did a state luncheon with Yeltsin and President Clinton. And that was probably the funnest thing I got to do. We served medallions of veal with asparagus. We did a tomato consomme for the soup and oven-roasted garlic potatoes. It went over pretty well. Well, I chose to come back to the submarine force because I really missed it. After being at the White House and picking up technique, picking up more food knowledge, I figured I could bring this back to the submarine force, and I'd be able to make guys' lives better down here. We have some guys here from the country. They love fried catfish. I can show you how we do our catfish. Cornmeal with some Cajun seasonings in it, with a little bit of olive oil. Just want to get that into an egg batter. Make sure it's coated real well. I prefer to do my catfish on the grill for tonight. I like home-style cooking. They really seem to enjoy it.
To cook for a president and cook for the guys on submarines, I always felt no matter who I was cooking for, it never made any difference. When we did cook for President Truman, every meal was a favorite meal. And if he didn't like it, he'd tell you very quick. The one thing President Truman didn't like was lumpy grits. And I'd never heard of grits. So I got taught very quick how to fix grits.
Our demand has been, and it remains, unconditional surrender.
He was a great man. I started in the Navy. I went on active duty in 1943. I did go to the North Pole on the Sargo, and after we surfaced there, we raised the Hawaiian flag. This is the same year that Hawaii became the 50th state. And in so doing, we made a cake representing the world with the Sargo at top with the North Pole. Then I was assigned to the Nautilus. That sort of blew my mind. Me going to the Nautilus, first nuclear-powered submarine. When you had good food on board, you had very little or no problem with morale. I was basically a cook in my entire Navy career. I always So what I put out represented what I was all about. That's the way I did my entire lifetime. Is the work I do is what I try to represent.
For more information about this or other food